Not all longan fruits are yellow and rustic looking. Some may grow like this. But don't be mesmerized by these seemingly exceptional fruits. In fact, most of them look good but aren't useful. And some even have a taste that many people find unpleasant. There are numerous varieties of longan, but only a few are truly delicious. This old tree, dressed in its golden robe, is extraordinary. What made it famous through the ages is not its age or seniority. Every single Chuliang longan tree in the world shares its DNA. Chuliang longan is not named for its high sweetness, or because it can be stored as food. Instead, it originates from a remote village in Maoming, Guangdong, a village called Chuliang, as a long-standing and highly favored variety. Chuliang and Shirxia longans dominate half of the longan industry, are still longans that rely on good grafting techniques. However, this longan tree has lost its voice forever. All its branches have been sawed off, and in the next moment, it undergoes surgery. Wherever life exists, there is competition. Once closely guarded day and night, to prevent theft. This tree is now unwanted. Even after decades of growth, it has reached the end of its cycle, forced to give up its lush green canopy, and serve as a base for new elite branches. Workers make 2 slanted cuts on the new branches, then carve out matching incisions on the old tree's trunk. The grafted branches fit seamlessly into these slots. To prevent gaps from forming, workers tightly wrap them with tape. Before fully integrating with the old tree, the new branches are fragile and can easily wither into useless sticks. To prevent moisture loss, the workers wrap them completely with plastic film, securing them from top to bottom. Finally, a plastic bag is placed over the grafting site, marking the completion of the grafting process. Want to grow your own longan? You have 3 options, but never choose the third one. Grafting or air layering allows you to harvest fruit in just 3 to 4 years. Growing from seeds, by the time the tree bears fruit, the child born the same year might already be in university. Have you ever felt thrilled after picking up a sprouting longan seedling, imagining an endless supply of fruit in the future? Well, reality proves otherwise. But do seeds have any purpose at all? Yes, they do. These newly sprouted seedlings will soon be given an important mission. Once they grow to about half a meter in a nursery, they will undergo the same fate as the old trees. Their branches will be removed, and they will be prepared for grafting. Not all seeds have the privilege to sprout and grow into real trees. Survival depends on strength. To be used as a rootstock, a tree must not only grow quickly, but also be highly resistant to disease, and perfectly suited to the local environment. And so, the cycle continues. Only by dedicating themselves fully can these grafted trees thrive. Once the grafted seedlings have been nurtured in the nursery for about a year, and their main stems have grown to 1 centimeter thick, they can be sent to plantations for cultivation. Compared to the previous 2 propagation methods, air layering is much more convenient. Workers make 2 circular cuts on a branch, remove a section of bark, wrap it with nutrient-rich soil, and seal it. In just 2 months, the newly formed roots will fill the air layering pouch, signaling the birth of a new tree. Workers then transplant these saplings into plantations. They dig 80 centimeters deep holes, fill them with organic fertilizer, and plant the trees at 4 to 5 meter intervals. The 3 Sapindaceae siblings, Rambutan, Lychee, and Longan, are 3 closely related members of the Sapindaceae family. They have similar growth habits, thriving only in tropical and subtropical regions. These trees love heat and moisture, but fear the cold. Among them, some longan varieties are slightly more cold tolerant than lychees and rambutans. But if the temperature stays below 4 degrees Celsius for an extended period, they won't survive the winter. While longan trees are sensitive to climate, they are more adaptable to different soil types. They prefer slightly acidic soil with a pH of around 6. Whether in clay or sandy soil, they can grow vigorously. At this point, one might imagine clusters of longan fruit weighing down the branches, ready for harvest. The challenges behind every bountiful harvest. In reality, every plump and round longan fruit is hard-earned. Beyond routine watering, fertilizing, and weeding, longan trees require major pruning. After growing in the plantation for about a year, shaping starts from a young age. Workers trim the treetops, leaving only a few important branches. For large-scale plantations, dwarfing fruit trees is essential. It makes daily maintenance easier. It reduces labor costs during harvest. Even mature fruit-bearing longan trees aren't easy to manage. They require pruning at least 3 times a year to ensure a bountiful harvest the following year. Right after the fruiting season, workers grab their tools and start a thorough tree maintenance process. They remove diseased and weak branches, thin out excessive branches, improve airflow within the canopy, ensure that the remaining branches get maximum sunlight and rainfall. After each pruning session, workers provide nutrient packs to help the trees recover quickly. With adequate nutrient supply, it doesn't take long before the Longan trees sprout new shoots, covering the entire tree with lush greenery. However, excessive growth is not always a good thing. It consumes an enormous amount of energy, so workers must get busy once again, removing unwanted tender shoots. Longan trees sprout new shoots 3 to 5 times a year, and each time requires manual intervention to focus energy on developing fruit-bearing branches. However, no matter how well they are managed, without nature's favor, Longan trees won't bear fruit. Even though they are evergreen trees, they go through a brief dormancy every winter. Some say this period helps them store energy for blooming and fruiting in the coming year. But in reality, it's likely just their way of hastening reproduction out of fear of the cold, ensuring they produce offspring before they fail to survive the next winter. With the exception of a few varieties like Four Seasons Honey Longan, most Longan trees cannot bear fruit without experiencing winter chills, flowering and the challenges that follow. As winter ends, mature branch tips gradually develop flower buds. Longan trees enter their blooming period from March to April, which marks the beginning of a stressful time for farmers. Not only do they have to worry about strong winds and rain, but also the many pests eagerly waiting to feast on the flowers. Fresh, juicy blossoms are a rare delicacy, and pests certainly won't miss out. To protect the flowers, workers must spray pesticides and fungicides, but only during the early flowering stage, to avoid harming pollinators like bees. Once all obstacles are cleared, beehives are brought into the orchards and placed strategically in different corners to help with pollination and improve fruit yield. For households growing only one Longan tree, pollination can still be achieved by shaking the tree during the flowering period. Longan flowers are monoecious, having both male and female parts. So as long as pollen spreads, the chances of pollination increase significantly. Before long, successfully pollinated flowers begin forming tiny bead-like fruits. The struggles of fruit thinning. At first, farmers fear the trees won't bear fruit, but when they bear too many, it becomes another headache. Since each tree has limited energy, too many fruit clusters result in small, undersized Longans. What's the solution? Another round of labor-intensive work. Workers move through the orchards, trimming off the tips and tops of fruit clusters, leaving only the healthiest fruits in the middle. 4 hard-to-reach areas. They climb ladders and use specialized tools to remove excess fruits. Once this fruit thinning process is complete, farmers must regularly apply protective sprays to ensure the remaining fruits grow to full maturity. The bittersweet harvest. By late summer to early autumn, the trees are heavy with ripe Longan clusters, signaling harvest time. Yet, this is a period of mixed emotions for farmers. A bountiful harvest should bring joy, but sometimes, it's not that simple. Longan is harvested nationwide, from mid-July to late September, leading to a market overflowing with fruit. The result? Oversupply causes prices to plummet. In some cases, the revenue from selling Longans barely covers the cost of harvesting. Longan and lychee, from orchard to market. Longans and lychees fed to pigs and sheep, or left to rot on the branches. This is not a myth. When Longans reach 90% maturity, and their sugar content exceeds 20%, harvesters grab their tools and march into the orchards. Early morning harvesting. The harvesting process usually RTS as early as 5 a.m. Even though the sky is still dim, it doesn't stop these hard-working individuals. Most of the harvesters are elderly uncles and aunts, who are usually early risers anyway. Harvesting in the morning has a crucial advantage. The cooler temperatures help preserve fruit freshness and make storage and transportation easier. The skill of picking Longan. Harvesting Longan requires expertise. Even on the same tree, fruits may mature at different rates. The ripeness of Longan determines both its size and sweetness. Underripe Longans are small and not very sweet. Overripe Longans lose sugar, affecting their taste. Because of this, harvesters have only a short window of time to complete the harvest, typically within 2 weeks for the entire orchard. Workers carefully cut fruit clusters, leaving a few leaves attached, and place them into baskets. Whether it's longan or lychee, both fruits spoil easily from the moment they are picked. Exposure to wind or direct sunlight can cause the fruit to harden or even crack open. The remaining leaves help block wind and sun, extending the fruit's freshness. By around 9 a.m., the day's harvest is finished. Sorting and transporting the fruit. Once the longans reach the warehouse, workers immediately trim off excess branches and carefully inspect each fruit, removing any cracked or damaged ones. Longans that crack during transport are still edible, but they will spoil within a day. The leaked juice not only tastes sour, but can also affect nearby fruits. Even after quality checks, longans sold locally need to reach the market within half a day. For long-distance transportation, the fruits must be pre-cooled at 8 to 10 degrees Celsius in cold storage, then packed in foam boxes with ice packs to ensure they arrive within 2 days. Why longan and lychee are expensive outside their growing regions? In their place of origin, longan and lychee are cheap and delicious, but once transported to other cities, they become high-end fruits. This price increase is mainly due to high transportation costs. Processing longan into dried fruit. Besides being sold fresh, longan can also be made into dried fruit. Workers peel the longans, remove the seeds, and arrange the pulp neatly on trays before placing them into drying machines. At 80 degrees Celsius, the longan pulp is dried for 5 hours. The once milky white flesh turns into a brown, chewy delicacy. This is dried longan, which has both medicinal and culinary uses. If dried with the shell intact, it becomes whole dried longan, a beloved snack and herbal ingredient. Final reminder: both longan and lychee have high sugar content. For those with high blood sugar, moderation is key. Thanks for watching. See you next time.